Hi, I'm Bas Rutten, and today we're in the world-famous karate combat pit for an encounter between two of the best fighters in the world. We have Joshua Quayhagen, the karate combat welterweight champion, and we have Luiz Rocha, who's karate combat's lightweight champion. Now, Saturday, August 27, these guys will throw down at Karate Combat 35 for a champion versus champion super fight. But before all that, we're going to talk. We have a little scroll going on right here, and we're going to talk about what they're going to do during the fight. This is Karate Combat's Pit Talk. All right, here we go. So first question goes to you, Josh. Yeah. So he wins his fight, and immediately he wants a match with you. What were you thinking at that moment?
So to be honest, I wanted to fight also. You know, my opponent I have a undefeated guy from Russia, and we couldn't get him into town. So this April event fight was coming up, and I had no opponent. So I reached out to see about the lightweight champion, versus champion fight. Karate Combat said it was too soon. And then I watched his fight, and he calls me out, and I just felt like it was, you know, kind of a little bit of fate. You know, at first it kind of woke me up, excited me, you know, that he wanted the fight. And then after a while, it even kind of pissed me off a little bit, and it got me angry. But I believe he wants what I want. He wants the best fights. He wants to promote the best fights. He wants the best for the league, and I think this is the fight for it. So I'm excited about it.
And you, Luiz, I mean, you just won your title. You beat a really strong guy, an undefeated guy at Scrivens, and immediately, instead of looking for a rematch or against a match against somebody else in your own weight class, you jump one weight class higher. Why would you do that?
I think the biggest challenges, in my opinion, Scrivens and Josh are two of the best fighters in Karate Combat, and I beat Scrivens, and now Josh is my challenger.
So it's kind of a compliment, Josh. Do you hear that?
Appreciate it.
All right, so let's go right away. We're going to talk about what's going to happen in between also, but let's jump to the end. Who's going to get his arm raised and how? Josh?
So, you know, I believe I am. So by all means necessary. I know he's got great power, and he's looking to come in and knock me out as I am for him. But it doesn't matter which way, 1 round, 2 rounds, 5 rounds, 10 rounds, however many rounds they want to let us go. I plan to have my hand raised at the end. He's an absolute exceptional fighter. I honestly feel like I'm the underdog, which is where I find that I do my best work. So just going to go in there and do everything I can to try to make him eat his words.
And Luiz?
I will win by knockout for sure. Do you know my power?
Cool. We'll see.
Okay, so Luiz, he's a welterweight, heavier weight class. You saw him fight. I mean, this guy gets hurt at the beginning of the fight, but he still pulls through, and every single time he comes off a victory. He shows heart, determination, passion, skill, everything. Why are you so certain that you can beat him?
I did watch Josh's fight, and he's a good fight because I did want this fight, and really, he's a very hesitant fighter, but never meeting power so big that might.
Okay. And Josh, what do you say against that? Did you ever face somebody who could hit as hard as Luiz?
Well, I'm not sure. We'll see. But I know he better bring some frying pans, a baseball bat. He better hit harder than he ever has, because if it doesn't go down, if I don't go down in the first or the second, it's going to get worse and worse every second that he's in there. So I know he's got great power. I'm excited to see it and put it to the test. So we'll see. Everybody got a plan until they get punched. Everybody got a plan. I want to see what his plan is once he lands his punch, and I'm still there.
So what about that hotel video joke that he made? Remember, looking for you everywhere it pops up. Hey, Josh, where are you? Josh, where are you? You know, it's funny. You probably laughed about it as well. But then once you start thinking about it, it's, you know, it's kind of a little poke as well. What were you thinking?
It kind of turned me on a little, you know, kind of made me a little bit frustrated, but it made me want the fight. So job well done. It poked the bear, as they say, you know, and now it's what I want. There's nothing else. There were some other people on my mind, and now there's only one. And so I'm excited. You know, he did what he needed to do. He spoke his feelings into existence, and now he's going to get what he asked for.
After the fight, after you saw the video, we saw another video of you. Luiz, be careful what you wish for. What does he have to watch out for?
Everything, you know. So I know we know his plan. He's going to bring big power. He's going to hit really hard. And so, like I said, you know, I like to see what happens after that. I can take a hit. I plan to take a hit. And I also plan to give one back. And so I want to see what he does when everything hits the fan. It's nice when you knock people out in round 1 and round 2. But what happens when there's a round 3 and 4 and maybe 5 or 6? I look forward to potentially that, and I'd like to see how well he enjoys it.
Well, this next question is a very weird question, and I'd let it up to you to decide, both of you, if you want to answer truthfully or you want to make something up. Because I'm going to ask what the weaknesses are of your opponent. So if you would tell him what you believe his weaknesses are, he's going to work on those weaknesses and it's going to make him a stronger fighter, which will make for a better fight. But then again, maybe you want to exploit those weaknesses and the same the other way around. So, Josh, what are the weaknesses that you see that Luiz Rocha has?
Pride is his weakness on this one. He sees something, he believes something to be the way. He's talked his way into it. He's going to get what he asked for, and I just want to make sure he's coming in humble. And if he doesn't,
you're going to humble him. Ooh, okay. So what do you say to that?
I know Josh's skills. I know Josh's power. I watched Josh's fight in Kabaddi Combat, in Bellator. I know, but it's not about Josh. It's about me, my power, my skills. This is my fight. And about my humble, I show my humble every day in the training. Hard work every day, every day, every day. And with this, I show my humble and my respect to this fight.
Yeah, let's talk about power a little bit, you know. So if you ask other coaches and fans who understand the fighting game, the first thing they say when they hear about this matchup is we got the power, we got the gas tank here. So Luiz, you got the big power, but big power, you know, you need a lot of gas in the tank because you need to fight maybe 5-6 rounds. You know that he can go the distance. I mean, this guy's been hurt in the first round and then he fights all 5 rounds and he gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So you think that this is going to play a factor for you, that his gas tank is so phenomenal? Is your gas tank up there as well with that power? Because normally that's a crazy combination to have, big power and a lot of stamina.
I'm ready to win by knockout in the first round, but I'm ready to fight 5 rounds or 6, no problem.
Well, hearing that, the same question firing back to you. Do you believe that your gas tank is going to play a major factor in this fight, especially in the championship rounds?
So for sure, if those rounds come into play, yeah, I believe that it will. But also too, it's easier to knock out somebody who's hell bent on knocking you out too.
That's true.
And so, you know, I think that lots of things can happen in the fight. I think coming too aggressive can be vulnerable too. And so potentially, if it gets to the championship rounds, I know the gas tank will play a part. But like him, I too am planning to match power with power. If he's planning to match gas tank with gas tank, it should be a very beautiful battle.
So bring it back to power. You stopped your last 2 opponents, and again, you know, Edgar Scrivens, who nobody was able to stop, you stopped him. So you know you got the power. Do you believe that Josh has the power to knock you out?
I think Josh have strong, like me, but I'm more fast and strong. Of velocity is not efficient, and I think no. I think Josh cannot win by knockout in this fight.
You also said that it's way harder to knock out Scrivens. It's way harder to knock out Scrivens than Josh. You see, I'm poking the bear here a little bit. So what do you say about that?
I think it will be the similar fight for the characteristics and skills. Josh and Scrivens is very different.
Yep.
But the game plan, Josh and Scrivens is similar. Is the long fight. Scrivens have a very gas tank,
yep.
And Josh too. but will be a similar fight and with similar finish.
Okay, so you're going to match power with power. You're going to, needless to say, you don't want to bring it to the championship rounds. You just also want to, well, an easy payday, right? If you knock them out the first round, that's everybody wants that.
It's much nicer, yeah. But again, I've also fallen in love with making people hate it in here. Okay. So I wouldn't mind that either. But yes, it will be different. It won't be like Scrivens. But I understand that, you know, it's I could see that right from the beginning. His game plan for Scrivens is the same. He thinks he laid the groundwork out for me too. That's why I had it right on his mind. It worked for Scrivens, oh, it's going to work for Josh. That won't be the case. It will be different. It will be different. That's all I'll say.
Look Luiz straight in the eyes, and while you look him in the eyes, tell us what you see. And then later on, I want you to, of course, to do the same thing to Josh.
I see a champion. I see a champion. I see a person that believes in something, and he's speaking it and believing it, and I know he's working hard for it too. But I know I'm going to break him. I know that it's not going to be the way he thinks. It won't be what he thinks. It's going to be more. It's going to be harder. It's going to be tougher. And at some point, he's going to break. And when he does, I'm going to finish him.
Luiz, same thing here.
I can see a welterweight champion, and I can see the second pound-for-pound fighter in Kawadi combat in front of the first pound-for-pound.
As I said when it came out, I agree. I think he is a better fighter than me. There's a lot of them that are better fighters than me, but I'm still not going to let him win.
He's not going to let you win. What are you going to do?
You don't need to let me. I will do it.
We'll see.
Okay, so final words. What's going to happen? I mean, we already talked about your hand's going to be raised. You confident that your hand's going to be raised. But is it going to be a war? What do you feel? Is this a first-round fight? Is this going to be power against power? Is it something? What would you expect? What do you expect? A technical knockout? Going the distance? I mean, there's a lot of ways that you could win the fight. If you really step back and you look at the fight, you got to go, oof, this is going to be a grinder. This could be a 5 or a 6-round fight.
I cannot wait for this fight, and I'm sure that I will enjoy this fight, and Josh too, because I love fight, and Josh love fight too. And I think this is the more similar point between we. But I know my powers, I know my skills, and Josh know. And Josh know that I am very dangerous fighter in the first, second, third round. And Josh believe that can resist it, can be resistant, and 4, 5 rounds to be best. I think this is your plan, yeah? But for me, we not have 4 or 5 rounds, 1 or 2 in maximum.
So I just plan to give him what he wants. If he comes searching for 1 or 2, I think 1 or 2 is going to be the answer. Might not look the way he thinks it's going to look. But if he's ready for a battle, I'll be willing to give it to him too. Whatever he's coming to search for, I'm going to honor him with that and give him that. If he's hell-bent on knockouts, that's how it'll end.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. August 27th, these guys are going at it. Karate Combat 35, we got the Preacher versus the Pitbull. Who's going to win it? Make sure you tune in.